All right, shalom, 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 saints of the Most High Yah. This is Pastor Elder Brother Rufus coming to you from the servants of Yah. I got a little something on my heart and my mind today. As you can see, it's exercise time. Got my little trusty Toro out today. And as you can see, I'm getting exercise cutting the land, y'all. I've always enjoyed cutting grass. Like some folk get in the garden, which I love the garden as well. I think we got our raised beds. Y'all can kind of see that there. Got 3 of them started. We're gonna put 3 more, maybe 6 more over there. 3 and then 2. But I love gardening too, but cutting grass and taking care of the land, that's what kind of gets me going and give me time to speak with the Most High Yah and do some of the things that I like to do. But I got a little something on my heart because I hear the chatter and I hear the noise that's out there amongst us in Israel. And, you know, I think it's a little appalling, honestly, because for those of us that believe in Acts chapter 2 and Acts chapter 4, when it tells us to sell all the stuff that we have and follow Yah, it tells us to have nothing that we call our own. And that's the chapters that talk about people went out and they sold their lands and their houses to provide for the other saints. They laid it at the apostles' feet. Now, one glaring problem we have today is these people that call themselves apostles or pastors or deacons or teachers or whatever leadership title they want to give themselves. These people receive these funds from the hard-working saints. And guess what they do? They take full ownership of these funds, because the things that come from these funds, these people believe that these things belong to them, that they are the ones that get to control them. Now, if you go back and you read Acts chapter 2 or Acts chapter 4, and you look at when the people instantly, when the spirit fell and these people instantly got the mindset to have nothing that they call their own. Let me tell you one thing, saints. If you have an individual that is consistently out here telling you, and I did this and I did that, and this is my land and this belongs to me, and I have 5 acres and I have 110 acres and all that, you already know you are dealing with a scam artist. You're already dealing with somebody that's a charlatan. You're dealing with a fraudulent thief is what you're dealing with. Because when you go to Acts chapter 2 and Acts chapter 4, hold on. Sorry. Apologize about that. Had to get it out though. When you go to Acts chapter 2 and Acts chapter 4, and you read about the works that the apostles did, especially the apostle Peter, when he received the love offerings from the saints so that he could provide for the other saints, did you ever read anything in there about Peter giving out loans to the people? Did you ever read anything in there where Peter would go buy the land himself and then put the people on the land and turn them into bondservants and handmaids, and then get mad at them when the people realize that they're being turned into slaves, that they're being turned back into bondage, just like the Most High took us out of bondage, out of Egypt? When they realize and they decide to come out, then you get these so-called apostles and pastors and teachers or whatever you want to call them. Then they'll say stuff like, well, these people are unappreciative and I was so benevolent and I did this and I did that and I did that. And then these same folk will tell you, look at the fruit. Well, I'm going to tell some of you, start asking for the fruit and the receipts of these people actually going out purchasing these lands with their money that they earned. You know what I'm saying? Tell them to produce that they went out, they earned the money, they took that money and they bought things for themselves, and now they're becoming landlord and lease agents. And really what they're becoming is publicans. They just like a publican. They like a wicked attorney or a lawyer. Can you imagine going to your attorney, right? Say you're an old woman and you got 5 acres of land, right? Let's look at this scenario. Say you're an old woman and you got 5 acres of land, right? And you go to someone you trust, someone you believe to be a man of Yah. And you say to that man of Yah, you say, look, sir, I'm an old woman. women ain't supposed to be leading men and all that good stuff. But I got 5 acres of land here that it has always been in my heart for the people of Yah to have a place to be able to come as a community. I have always viewed this land as a community for the saints. It belongs to them. So would you take this 5 acres of land and build a community for the saints to have it? Would you do that for me, please? Now, how would you feel about a man that takes that from that old woman, right? Takes that land and never turns it into a community. He has it 5, 6 years in his possession. And what he does is he makes other people go down and caregive for the land for years. Not him. They go down. They drive 2.5, 3 hours, 4 hours to take care of the raised beds, to take care of the land, to take care of the greenhouse and all that stuff for him. Then he gets this bright idea to enslave another older couple, put them on the land and tell them, well, you go down and you caretake for the land. Now, don't mind, it's my land, right? Now, he has taken ownership of this land. Mind you, the old woman's request was that he turn this land into a community for the people. She gave it freely. See, she had nothing that she called her own. She actually followed the Acts model. Because when you read it, it says lands, plural with an S, or houses, plural with an S. She had extra lands. She had extra houses. This man never turned, after this older woman turned over this land for the saints could have a community. She gave it. Now, she paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to build this land up, y'all. This man that she gave it to didn't put one dime into it. It came with homes. It came with buildings. It came with areas for chicken, areas for goats. It came with greenhouses. It came with 50 raised beds. And she had a pre-made, pre-ready community for the people. And all she did was entrust this man to take that community and give it to the saints and help them on and show them how to do community. But what this man did was he put it out in his name. See, that Acts model tells you what? Have nothing that you call your own. But what this wicked man did, this wicked publican did, is he took the land from this woman, right? And he made it into a getaway for him and his family. That's what he did. For years, him and his family would be able to come there and get away for the weekend or for a good week just to get away and decompress and all of that. Mind you, the caregiver that is living on that land for him, that he has turned into a bondservant and turned that man's wife into a handmaid, they don't even get to take advantage of the benefits of the house that is there because that house has been set aside as a getaway for this wicked man's family. All the while, this poor older woman has to sit right next door to it and watch how she had instructed this man to turn it into a community, and she has to watch for years that this land has not ever become a community. Why was it never a community? Well, to have a community, the first thing you have to have for a community is multiple families living on a piece of land. It don't matter if it's, 6 acres, right? Multiple out, it don't matter. It could be a half an acre. But if you got multiple families dwelling on that thing in common unity, that means you got a community. But this place, no. He put one old couple on this land. Y'all got to forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm outside working today, so some of this stuff get caught up in my mouth. I hate that. I had to get rid of it, though. But he puts one older couple. When I say older, they're close to 60, y'all, to caregive for his land. Then when this older couple realizes that they've been taken advantage of, right? Because they have enhanced this land tremendously. Built another house on this land, converted a garage and made it into a livable space. And I'm talking about immaculately took care of this land. When they realized they were being used, they decided to leave. And guess what? They left in harmony. They left the land looking 10 times better than when they showed up. They didn't wait to, you see how manicured this is looking, right? That's how that land looked when they left it. That's how it looked when they left it. Everything in place, everything manicured. They didn't poop on the walls and urinate all over this. No. They left it in a righteous state, y'all. How would you feel towards the man that calls himself the man of Yah, calls himself the Moses of this generation, calls himself Elijah, the prophet who prophesies everything now. How would you feel about that man knowing that he stole that land? He got that land ill-gottenly, because the intent of the older woman was for that to be a community. So now let me get back to you. Let's just say you got some land and you trust your attorney, right? You go to your publican and you trust him and say, this is what I want to happen with my land. But because you don't fill out the paperwork properly, the wicked publican, the wicked attorney, the lawyer, the landlord guy, the lawyer, he knows that when you die, he can take sole control over everything. So when you pass away, instead of him honoring your wishes and doing with that property, land, whatever it is that you have that he wants you to do, he does it and takes it for himself and does what he wants to do with it. How would you feel about that individual? See, this is what we got going on today in religion. This is what we got going on today in Christianity, Islam, Black Hebrew Israelites, Torah keepers. It don't matter. You got a bunch of people out here calling themselves leaders, and they're taking in the funds from other people. They're taking in the labor and the skills and the talents of other people, and they're building up kingdoms, amassing wealth for themselves when they haven't done the labor. Now, they will tell you, oh, I've been building houses for 26 years. I've been out here laboring. I've been doing this and doing that. Show the proof of it. Show the proof of it. Because I don't have any proof of stuff like that. What you do on your land is what you do for your land. But just because you go out and see, like this home here, y'all see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, essentially 10 layers, a block right there for this house. If you come and you lay this entire wall right here, if you lay that, guess what? You didn't do all the work on this house. You don't get credit for building this house. You free willingly came and gave a portion of your time and talent to help assemble this. You don't get credit for building this house. Did you help assemble it? Yes, but it's not your credit. First off, we are all, Paul said, we either plant or like Apollos, we water. But if the increase comes from something, Yah is the one that gets credit. So guess who gets credit for this foundation? It's Yah. It's Yah. It's not the people that Yah hired and chose to build this for him, that he entrusted. Why did Yah entrust him? Why? He gave him the wisdom. He gave him the knowledge and the understanding on how to properly place these bricks and the mortar and make this foundation solid and firm. He's the one that gets the credit for the increase of this, not us as the people. But you get these wicked leaders out here that will tell you, oh, we have all things common and you're supposed to give all. Well, you are. But when you read in that Bible, when they gave all, do you see them coming back to the apostle every single week, every 2 weeks, every month, however you get paid, and giving everything that they have to that apostle? And did you not also see that apostle, who was a righteous man of Yah, took those proceeds and he didn't live off of them? He took those proceeds and guess what he did with it? He took it out and he dispersed it to the people that had need. Imagine giving a man $1,000 and there's 5 people that got need. Now that man takes that 1,000 and say, well, let me keep 500 for myself. And then I'll take 300 and put it in this community that benefits me. I'm going to spend 500 of this on me and my women and my children. Then I'm going to take 300 of it and build up this land that I stole from the saints off of their hard work, their earnest money. I stole it from them, but I'm going to build up my land a little bit more. Then I'll take 200 that's left and I'll give it to this little community over here to help them out and this little community to help them out so that I can present myself to you like I'm just this great cheerful giver. Now, mind you, the person that gave that $1,000, they intended for 100% of that money to go to the saints that have need, not wants. Is there a need to get away sometimes? Yeah. But can you tell me 6 vacations in a year when you're going over to the Cayman Islands and Jamaica and Puerto Rico and doing all this stuff, that's a need? Can you tell me having 7 luxury vehicles, that's a need? Can you tell me building a 13,000 square foot mansion, that's a need? No, you can't. You can never justify any of those things as needs. But this is the type of behavior and this is the type of actions that these wicked leaders in religion do today. They think because they get up and they preach, and I don't even want to call it preaching, because really what they're doing is manipulating you as a people. They give you these feel-good speeches that make you think that you're something religious when you're really not. You don't have real, true religion in you, because most of you have no idea what it takes to administer the daily administration when it comes to taking care of the widows and the orphans and the people that really, truly have need out here. You have no idea what that consists of. You don't, because most of you are like these leaders out here. You do things so that you can get something in return. You think you freely giving your labor, but guess what? When you don't get the congratulations, or you don't get the handshake, or you don't get the pat on the back, you go away pouting. You go away acting like they're ungrateful. They didn't appreciate what we did. Well, you did it out of the goodness of your heart, supposedly. Let's get back to this publican. Let's just say he's been doing this for 30 years, y'all. Say he's been doing it for 30 years, where he's been taking the labor, taking the skill, taking the talents of all the different saints, having them go out, work, bring in financial funds, turn them all over to him. And then he puts them into lands, homes, buildings, equipment, all this stuff, but everything's in his name and he gets to control it all. Mind you, these people been doing this kind of work and labor, giving everything. $500,000, $1 million here, 200,000 here, 900,000. I mean, just boatloads of money, y'all, that he didn't go out and this publican didn't do no labor for, none of it. But see, these people read Acts chapter 2 and they read Acts chapter 4, and the Most High moved on their heart and said, man, we need to give. I'm blessed. I'm taken care of. But if I can take my $900,000 or $800,000 that I got and I can give it, and it can turn into a community for the saints that the saints can have, I'll do that. But what you see is he turns that money over, and this wicked publican will go out and he'll take that money and he'll put the land in his name, and he'll control the people on that land so they have nothing. And he'll turn them right back into bond servants and turn them into handmaids. If you think I'm lying, if you think I just made this story up, like this is not in the book, won't y'all go read Jeremiah 34, please? Go read Jeremiah 34. That is describing to you exactly what is going on right now. Then when you get done meditating and reading Jeremiah 34 and seeing these wicked publicans, these wicked men posing as pastors, they from the seed of Japhet, they from the seed of Ham. They are not Yahudims. They are not from the seed of Shem, but they pose as they are. And when you see the work that these men have come in and did, it makes sense when the Psalms told us that these nations are confederate against us. They are. They are confederate against us in the work that they're doing to keep the people down. So read Jeremiah 34, like I said. Read Jeremiah 34. Then when you're done with that, skip on over to Isaiah 2. Because Isaiah 2 describes to you who these men are in the eyes of the Most High. These mean men. And he's going to tell you exactly what's going to happen to those people. And guess what? Because some of you have voted with your feet on the side of righteousness. Because some of you has fled the sinking ship. Because some of you love Yah more than you love yourself. You love Yah more than man, ministry, and titles. You love Yah more than accolades and positions. What you're going to see is Isaiah 2 lived out in current day. Don't the book say that he's the same yesterday, today, and forever? And what happened in the past is going to happen again? Well, you're going to get to see it. And we will find out who has a prophetic word. We will find out who knows Yah and who has a favor of Yah on their side. And we'll find out who the posers and who the imposters are. You can't get past this book, y'all. I still feel bad for that old woman in this hypothetical I just gave y'all. I feel bad for that old woman that gave that land, believing that that land was going to be turned into a viable community for the saints, and it was going to be something for the saints, not for the leaders she trusted to lord, to take that possession and use it to lord over the saints. Tell me this. How would you feel if you were, say you did this, say you blessed an individual and you gave them a vehicle, right? You gave them a vehicle. You gave it to them. Now you paid for it. You went out, you earned the money, you generated the funds for it, and you paid for it and said, this will be a good blessing for Israel. Then this individual comes along and they got a need for that vehicle. And you give that vehicle to that individual. You don't charge them what you paid for it. You literally turn the title over, turn the keys over, and you give it to them, right? You give them that vehicle. Then you come to find out a year later that that individual took that vehicle. Now, it is theirs. They can do what they want to do with it. But how would you feel if you know you gave it, right? To be a blessing to them because you believe them to be saints. You believe them to be saints. But then a year later, that same individual that received this free vehicle, they took that free vehicle, gave it to another saint, but they charged that saint and made them saints pay for that vehicle. How would you feel about that? Now, I promise you, I'm not talking about anybody specifically with this. I'm putting a scenario in your mind. I want you to think, because this is actually what's going on. I use the thing as a vehicle because I got a car background. All right. I'm not saying anybody in Israel did this because I'm not, but I'm using it as an example. So I'll flip it. So you would be mad. You'd be like, why would you put a car note on these saints knowing they have a need? When you had a need, it was given to you. That vehicle was just given to you. Why would you just not be a blessing and give it to someone else instead of putting a car note on it? You know what I'm saying? So now let's flip it. You know what these leaders do? They get the money in that they haven't worked. They haven't done anything. The money comes in to take care of the saints. So when the saints have needs, how would you feel if the leader loaned that money? Now, he didn't pay a dime for it. He didn't do anything to get that. That money came in from the benevolence of the saints, wanting that to go towards taking care of saints. Their whole desire when they give you a tithe or an offering or they give all is so that money can go to take care of the saints. But how would you feel if you have leaders that take this money that they have never worked for, never done anything to get, and they take the benevolence of these saints that is giving it to them, and instead of giving it away, distributing it like the apostle Peter did, that they start loaning it out to saints. And then when saints hit hard times and maybe not be able to pay back these egregious loans that they have to pay anyways, then they get online and start blasting them and tell them they better come with my money. They act like they Bumping Johnsons and gangsters from New York. How would you feel about these individuals? This is what you're up against in religion today. This is the so-called leaders and pastors and prophets and apostles and preachers and teachers today. This is what they do. And it is called scamming, and it is called defrauding. And in biblical terms, it's called bewitching. It's called pulling a cloak of maliciousness over the people. There's a punishment on both ends for it, though. And I'm here today to just let you know that that punishment, that storm is still at the gate.